anything but when you think about it. They're lowlifes is what they are. They in the end, we have to. Bill Cooper said it best on a show. He's like, ladies and gentlemen, do you think we're going to get anywhere with this if we hate these people? Do you honestly think we're going to win if we hate these people? We're not. And I'll be honest, I hate the chemtrailers. I know that these people up there flying those white tankers in the sky, they think they're doing good. They think they're protecting the Earth from global warming. They've been fed the biggest load of mind control. Like money, guys, money is mind control, okay? It is pure mind control. And to go back to money, the connection with that source, remember, the eye in the sky, what does that mean? It is their knowledge of that they know everybody wants one thing. It's love, and that love, if deep enough, connects to the divine source. And when you can balance the male, and that goes into the whole phallic, because that's the creatures who run the world now. They are the phallic sun worshippers. They're not even sun worshippers. That's sun representation. And I want to say something for the sun. Don't forget, guys, the sun is a good thing. We all love the sun. Hooey on the cult of the sun. Those creatures, hooey on them. But the sun itself is a great thing, and don't let them hijack the sun and its meaning to us. Okay, sun's good stuff. And the other side of it, so the sun is the yang symbol. The upward, it is the pyramid symbol, the blade, so to speak. The other side is the moon goddess symbol, or the yin, which is the downward pointing triangle. When we merge those two sides together, what do we get? Well, we get that classic Solomon seal, the Star of David, the hexagram or hexagon, that I like to point out is the witch's most powerful spell-casting device. Everybody thinks it's a pentagram, the five-pointed star upside down in the circle. No, it's the hexagram. The six-pointed star inside the circle is the witch's most powerful spell-casting device. Don't ever forget that one, guys.
Hey,
please.
Oh, sorry, Bob. This is Jeff again. Were you gonna?
Is that Grupp? Ed, I think I hear Grupp back there. Oh my God! Hit the mute button. I'm just.
Hey, I got something on your forgiveness thing. I was on Deagle's show, and it was a while back. Must have been 2007, as a guest, and I brought that up, and Deagle agreed with me, but I went into it hardcore, and I said the key is, if you think about it, Bob, if you're in the closet, for 7 hours doing your prayer and doing your meditation, and all of a sudden, bam, there's the Holy Spirit right in front of you. It is infinite light. I mean, your consciousness is going to be so flooded with that. You're going to have infinite joy. Do you think you're really going to have the capacity to hate all these people, no matter how many chemtrails are spraying on you? The answer is no. See, but that's our real self there. I mean, a lot of the things that we are, so concerned with in our ego consciousness, in the higher consciousness, the one where we understand that we're in the image of God and we're connected to God, we just don't have the capacity to care about half this stuff we do in the lower state of consciousness. That's the issue you're getting at. I think with the forgiveness thing, that is the only way to win. You have to be in the higher state of consciousness. That's why the truth movements and the conspiracy movements, they're just fighting with each other and basically operating in the same way that they used to. That's why it's not getting anywhere. We have to elevate and become, use our big brains, become what we actually are, beings that are in God's image. But another thing I said on Deagle's show that day, and Deagle did not go with me on this one. Nothing wrong with that. I mean, Deagle disagrees with me on almost everything, and that's totally cool. But I said there was a lot of talk back in those days. Well, I guess there still is now with some of the bigger radio talk show hosts about we need to get a lot of people think the Illuminati are the bankers, which is a complete joke. They're not the magicians. They're not the secret societies. They're not the non-human entities that control it from behind. That's where the illumination level is, the illuminators, the magicians. But anyways, there's a lot of talk about let's get the bankers and throw them in jail, and that's like throwing the Illuminati in jail. And my comment on Deagle's show is that is, well, okay, first of all, not only is that a joke to think it's the Illuminati, but it's, you can't throw the bankers in jail. There's no police force against them. And if the American people did it, you're going to be met with this huge resistance. They're going to throw neutron bombs at you and machine gun you down and so forth. But why not just simply ignore them and get rid of this idea that so many conspiracy theorists have in their mind? Like, we need to throw the bankers in jail, and we need to get the Rothschilds and throw them in jail. What if we just simply didn't care about them one bit, okay? And remember Gandhi? Now, I know a lot of people have questioned Gandhi. The whole British government operation in India was kind of suspicious. Yeah, that's cool, but Gandhi did say one thing. He did do one thing right. He had the idea that we don't need to throw the oppressors into jail. We simply don't care about what they do, and as soon as we ignore them long enough, they will leave, which is exactly what happened.
That is absolutely correct, Jeff. When we consciously turn away...
No, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I'm sorry, Ed. When we consciously turn away from their system, when we no longer need their system, when we just build a whole new life for ourselves, when they become a joke to us, an irritant, they will drop off and disappear from our world.
Yep.
Yeah, but how do you ignore
if we do that? Go ahead, Ed. Sorry.
No, just real quick. I mean, that sounds great, and I'm just, I do this a lot, Jeff. I always play kind of devil's advocate.
Hey,
but if you
just shoot, man. Just shoot.
if you say just ignore them, I mean, how do you ignore someone that's poisoning your food and poisoning your air and doing things with kids, the CPS? I mean, you just say, just ignore them. I don't know.
Okay, excellent point.
Great question.
That's actually what I was just going to bring up. See, that's kind of like that. What you're basically going to is the predicament that the American Indians were in the 1800s, 1600s, and so forth. They were in a situation where they were not dependent on a New World Order system. They lived off the land. They were in the forest. They were the epitome of the non-slave, and so forth. But what happened to them? They were invaded. So yeah, if we ignore them, then we would be invaded in return. So yeah, we can go ignore them, and then we'll be sprayed with chemtrails, and they'll come and infiltrate our religions and so forth. So I guess the only possible way to stay uninfiltrated and autonomous and free is if there was ever a movement where in mass we had huge numbers of millions of people just simply ignoring them, whatever the spirit was, the awareness of their existence, the existence of a dark, satanic, secret government controlling the world, people would have that awareness in their mind that would propel them to reject them and ignore them and do their own thing. That awareness would always have to stay in existence, because I think the American Indians didn't have that in their mythology, in their religion, in their spirituality. They didn't understand that there's a dark, satanic government that controls this world. See, that's the problem. So if you add the answer to the question then is, if you have one simple element of knowledge in your spirituality, in your philosophy, and in your science, and your paradigm of the world, that there's a dark satanic government that does and wants to rule this world, then you will always have the awareness of its encroachment, and therefore you can continue to resist it. So in other words, living like the American Indians with an awareness of the satanic secret government would be the answer, if I'm making sense.
That's great points.
And it's not going to be easy to break free from this system. And that's why we're still in it, because there's no easy answer for this. We have to take each thing on a case-by-case basis and fight in our own way, not physically, not violently, but just fight it. There's examples to go on, but we do have to fight it. And I wanted to finish this thought about the thing, but Jeff, I want you to put whatever out there you want to hit before I start down this dark road of the final finale of money and the New World Order sorcery techniques they use.
Okay. Okay. I just Skyped Ed and said, "Hey, I'm giving the show back to you. I won't hijack it anymore." And there, you're calling me back in. Can we just hit one thing, Bob, Antimatter Zone Network researcher?
Absolutely, sir.
Give us a little bit more on the connection of the word light in the Bible to currency. That was absolutely amazing. Never heard that before. If you have any more info, if you don't just say pass, but if you have any more info, get that real quick.
Hey, that's like the old question, hey, are you still beating your wife? If you answer yes or no, you can't win. But I'm just teasing, Jeff. But no, basically it was fiat. The looks part was the light. Okay, the fiat looks, let there be light, but the fiat currency is where I was headed with that. So light is not so much as it was the energy force or the fiat currency where I was headed with that. But it does mimic the whole genesis of the Bible. Let there be whatever. All right, they know that by calling it fiat currency. They know subconsciously we will process that. Remember, we're processing all kinds of things that we're consciously not aware of. And I'm going to bring this up, Jeff. I brought up a topic to Jeff the other day. Jeff was, and I hope you don't mind me sharing this, Jeff was pleasantly surprised by his wife. May I say about your wife?
Hey, man, go ahead. Go for it.
Jeff's wife is expecting, and we're all very excited for him. And he received a gift in the mail for the baby, all kinds of little baby goodies from a well-wisher out there, and also maybe a stipend to go with it. And Jeff was overjoyed, and he said, I didn't even expect this. And I told Jeff, I'm like, Jeff, even though you didn't actively telament the need for this, you're real Jeff, you're real Jeff here too, but you're real Jeff in the fourth dimension that is desperately trying to contact this Jeff, as we all are trying to touch with ourselves here in this prison planet world we live in. But the real Jeff, or the Jeff that is subconscious, with lack of a better word, we need a whole new vocabulary, and I apologize. I wish I had more words. But the real Jeff, outside of the conscious Jeff here in this three-dimensional realm, is telamenting like crazy for stuff like that. Okay, and so he didn't and so he didn't have to actively, verbally in this temporal world ask for that stuff. The divine creator knew he wanted that stuff or needed that stuff, and it materialized. And once again, this goes back to the generative principle. Okay, supposedly, you have to verbally ask for all this stuff, but then again, once again, if it's the care or the focus of care, it's like a laser beam through the ether into this temporal world, and it's so exciting, guys. But I just wanted to say that, Jeff, that there could be, I want to throw Clark's take on it. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm throwing an addendum to telementation. I know it could be controversial, but I would like to say there is a passive telementation that is also a realistic part of telementation. Thank you, Professor Grupp, for letting me put that out there.
Oh, yeah, we got what you're referring to, the stipend, is Antimatter got the biggest donation ever by far here in this 6 weeks that I'm taking off because we're moving and the baby and so forth. And it was from one of the regular old Antimatter subscribers that I've been talking to for so long, and that was pretty amazing. But yeah, I've never done telementation to try to boost antimatter, but it's growing like crazy. So there must be some kind of passive telementation or something going on. But Bob, let me ask you. Let me go back to the currency and light and money issue once more. One thing that when you first said that, one thing I was thinking is that the real stuff of the cosmos is consciousness. I mean, there's so much evidence for this, not just in quantum physics or numerology and a lot of the studies that we've done on antimatter, but just simply think of the fact that the universe is a fractal. The human person is a fractal of the universe. That's the basis of magical studies, and not the kind of magic that dark magic that the Illuminati does, but actual just the real science of nature. And so what does that tell you? Well, what a person is their thoughts and feelings. A person is not their body. I can chop up your body and take your replace all your brain parts with little robot brain neurons and so forth, and you're still going to have the same consciousness. If I just replace piece by piece by piece, you're going to still feel like you're you. So consciousness stays. So consciousness is not the body. So consciousness is not the body. A person is not the body. A person is consciousness. So if you're a fractal of the universe, then the universe is also consciousness. Now, this also makes sense if we think of being in God's image. Well, God is not some physical thing. God is light. God is a fractal intelligence that's omnipresent. when I say fractal intelligence, that's mind, that's consciousness. So, I mean, all these things fit together about consciousness being the basis of things. So now that's pretty interesting to think about this issue with money here, because if we take money and think of it as a currency, well, it is, like you made that great point, where people freak out, oh, $1's on the ground. It's like the greatest thing that's ever happened to them. They got their child sitting there next to them, don't even care. They find $1 and they're jumping up and down over this stupid little thing. So it has definitely got a hold of our consciousness. So that's like, if consciousness is the real stuff of nature, as I'm just skimming over this. I've done